Yeah, now make the signing of a Samson Ediku by Gold Stars from Asante Kotoko. You know, Kotoko signed him in January, and 6 months forward, they felt they were meeting expectation to Omojano Kwai. Gold Stars think Omoko Africa, Kobo Champions League, into Ombehia Samson Ediku in Gold Stars, and they've signed him. Now, no make Gold Stars signings, you know, most of them are quite young, from relatively smaller clubs, Vision FC, Baseke, Park Academy, small clubs. And I'm saying it's a stage in Amokono, a big stage. Into one way, no uncle players or more stadium, Kessie and it's an emano, and Koya, they be affected. You also need an experienced person. Classical example is what Entry gave a Dreams FC in their last African campaign. Some said Dukumenkaya. Ghana League were for over 10 years because way back 2014 he was playing for Karela. Yeah. Until from Karela and then all the clubs Abuboy and Sana Utukwai Kakrawama then Tukumasi Asante Kotoko. So I think it's a good signing. Or prove over the years we're a good player. And there's still about Kotoko went to Yamo. It could be adaptations, it could be whatever. And some 7 matches. Some players here time kakra to make it. It do be so the team players be also need the heart for big clubs. Into obe born fine, our Karela, obe born fine wa, but obe do Kotoko into me. So for Gold Stars, looking at them players now, I think that is a good addition. Okay. And maybe he'll bring some new dimension into the African campaign general.
Biberi Gold Stars have signed a better striker. Eduku and Kumasi Asante Kotoko will surely regret for sacking Eduku. Kusi di odia be money adriana. So one perform at Club A, now ko perform at Club B. Club A, and they say blame for sacking the player now ko born home or Club B.
You know, it depends on the circumstances. First of all, some Chelsea fans be omo complaining say omuja Mo Salah kwai. And I say Kevin De Bruyne.
Yes.
Yes. Na many omunyadwi. Because under the circumstances, classical example is also Man United Aja Gerard Piqué ekwai.
Oba kuma ha sa amankona ne Kotoko ko ya renema
za Piqué mujana kwa na say Barcelona Kotono.
Man United Piqué felt onya playing time. No, onya be more.
He was young.
Because it was Ferdinand and Vidic. It didn't look like he was going to get a chance.
And to me, and then they justified.
Yes, but the even John Evans was even ahead of Piqué. So he left.
You have similar examples.
So a different situation.
Per se.
A different situation.
Did you hear my initial comment? Me say it depends on the circumstance. There are circumstances where you can't blame the club, and I mean more circumstances where you can't blame the club. Or even so allow me to bring it down.
Yonko.
Judging run So from Mo Salah at that time, no players no one no. Same as Kevin De Bruyne and all that. Until do we now blame me? I don't know. I say Mourinho is a one money jam kwayo. Then go for blame him. Oba Eduku dia. Ononso sono. He came only in January, middle of the season. You know, so you're familiar with the transfer window now. Even big players, it's true. Some be moving in January. Because January now, you have the chance to have pre-season with your team. You have time say only team, no better team, not say omu coach and even coach in any other day. So many big players usually want to move during the summer transfer window where we need team to be pre-season. So na pressure free. So for Eduku coming in January, whilst the season was ongoing, yes, he didn't live up to expectation. But I think that Nankese say Omumane the chance to play this season. I was Ante Kotoko count.
Okay.
Because waboli gini biya chrese wonimbo. And oba just feel on to me more. But you needed to give him the chance. But hey, 6 months is wonko. Now Kotoko sa so mo strikers. It do baby a problem in this particular instance. So kono ko guilta. One here people will be right in saying say Omanya butra mano enum jana kwa imane koye.
Hatch of Okina Santi Kotoko, first half no, and the end, say, call, sir, minya, ye. Na first two, no, then in I Justice Blay. Young country, so Justice Blay absence, no one who the Kotoko midfield, oh, yeah, oh, the Hatch of Okay, Messinema Subu, after call baby, I am in fact. Call me a baby, I don't say a one or the Quacofa, including me, Minua, friends, 11C, a Jumura. Enti we no bear one example say love a friend say Blay if you Kotoko say the no see there's no way obesan attract him no say la omo negotiate say ometumeja no kwa manako okonoko perform wonders ewo other club say no what can wasem say
you see Blay
so for kind can say no way
Blay so near the difference room
who say
Blay so near the kudie no
where difference room
okay Edukudie for non-performance
because ebeba ente binim so obeko obako perform oka be ye topic say
number 2
yes
either say okonoko perform here the pressure be break Kotoko for ana omo replace omo no entumi amma
okay
ombesa be replace blame Kotoko for no but Kotoko for paying for say they have enough of Blay. It's not issue of competence. Inti so okonoko okoye competent to baby a Kotoko from paying for say enye se onimbo
that's issues and still like that so
what I say their problem is that it's not about performance but at the end of all you know how omo so omo ni na ka fe di ewura other players in mama omo camp on no they can't have
but
control.
I thought Mickey said something different today and
Adekrona or say still Mickey Krene one can news because the kind of their wakanda that no sabe repeating. Say Kotoko from paying for say no matter what still Blay omutua 3 months no more jano kwan. Blay so obeje
no but the reason was omudi jano kwan.
Any performance.
Sano kan.
So we say
yes be
but there's no disciplinary problem on his file.
No.
Yes. And also
yes.
And also okay.
So what is the basis of the termination?
So nkase be a conduct and I say hwan because man no. So can say usuma we when ya. Now
so what is the basis
evidence be the
so what is the basis for the termination?
Well.
Because it must be just cause. What's the basis for termination?
Kofi tiase.
Mam tiase.
First of all Kotoko from paying for no. Administratively
that is
what I mean by that.
Maybe
expanded listeners in viewers.
Incompetent.
On size
when you say somebody is incompetent, it means that the moment you say somebody is incompetent in his position,
I know it.
And you do so now so you should no problem. Number say me be any wa hemati say but person be me viewers and listeners. The entire maker say omo anyi omo adwuma yi administratively ni say yem fa ne say nipa no akobra ba camp. Woni na kasa. First one be a verbal warning wenti. Third time ebi a wakoye wi emu bia no mo ne ka no mama no warning ana ma fine omo wo fine say omo ye no wa fine no still auto aso. Normally ideally administratively it should be written documents on so and so they did ABCD
warning amode mani
warning ya kyerɛkyerɛfo ewe oni ama query ne ekyerɛ ne ama wi eto aso ba mienu miensa now heard they say o man open transfer ebi or justified based on those things. But as we speak, it looks like Kotoko from Penyinfo ni dossier of those various indisciplinary acts now. Yet ten was
India dear no mudina so dia saka.
But omun so ni shia, omun nim se ye ni ushia na no. We see ye can say. Na no ye no kan ni nyina dance ye ho. What you say? But sa asem no kopie mu status committee dia. E ho na krata wan trotro no. Ubenya or some kind of
my prayer about because this week the executive council of the GFs is going through a lot. My prayer is that we're able to clear this hurdle. Now, sir, in standard player contract, into effect. There are a lot of requirements, especially the stage here. This is a player ball mount. season in our matches are born. We more than 70%.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. 27 matches out of
34.
34. Okay.
So divide 27 by 34, multiply by 100. The one percentage of league matches are a Justice Blay, a boy. So no. So clearly, and your performance. What's our
79%.
So no, it's more than 70%. So he played close to 80% of league matches. In your performance. So nimbo 80% of your matches. For no crowd to change. Number two, if what Mickey is saying is anything to believe, so there's no disciplinary record on his file. So why is Bibia and Dana in this one? Who terminate way? And this case is being triggered by the club. This termination is not from Justice Blay. It is from the club. So terminate way. You must be ready to pay compensation. The Omo Kakran and my boy and ask me the more. You must be ready to pay compensation. Because wasani amount and our honor contract we in Tebi Grandpa, you might have gotten offer better, but he didn't listen to those offers because when we saw binding contract or running contract with the club, you will not even listen to those we. This is a word rule out of welfare so I will be about Baba position to uncle dia. This is termination without just cause.
And depending on the kind of contract I want to just play.
Because new contract to be no fan some ball amount.
Fine.
And
but
ball and yes sir.
You name the omoni just play contract are waiting in such
and I make us say want to the
time about kubit ma sake back on time about kubit ma jaya manako.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure in Ghana. Yeah, win.
I be omujina
bibia bia ne contract be san nyina no labor laws of Ghana ejuma. So contract now because when I will fan it you might have drafted a contract to suit you. Nti anam sent to gina so pam no pam no kukuno do kwa whether sa contract no ene international practice eye di na egbo abra and ene labor laws no eye adwuma and egbo abra so what must say send egbo abra ene no will come into force.
So reasons no mu gina so dey asakere no say nanka eye retina, okay,
but what are the reasons
say your troya and bia because of say actual to home blah blah and can be a second no okay anything and termination of contract anything okay? So what of say not a verbal but omo a dance here e dey say drew summary your a dance here e say ya you want ni no ma bebre ya ka kire so to free bia no ma we ho na wan twon ho me busa wo nsem yinu ba ko ya tro ba ko nso no ye ntro ye verbal ba dance for
but san sem yenu
ni na no ntimi nyina so mfa indemnity contract
san sem yenu nyina no is answered e wo we ni mu e wo the medical kind contract crawl ma sign no ma e wo contract ni mu no matter what contract news whether said so no man conform with the industry practice say football contract we my a standard and I conform with the labor laws of Ghana until and I'm saying to but you then come again so for sunny players and them say I hope and pray say the standard player contract will come into effect because there are requirement say club on so code of conduct and our code of we are or player and buy so need to go through not say aha wabe yenye say inti abasa no busu ajo easy for you to make reference and now you know share and catch us yenye say wako yese inti ada ayeko wasa ko ebiu aye no ayesa and I'm saying what breach the very agreement to sign because our code of conduct a part of the agreement now was signed as contract because the contract is making reference to an existing code of conduct by the club our ordinary mi ama wa bi kro ama copy mo waken kan no wa unu so obuso you are breaching the very contract now was signing. Tended to know what I can say contract. And then the termination will just cause because there are references will have make it to provisions in the contract. So wabu. And I'm saying now, say you know they can say contract. But if there are no reference for you to make reference to now we are, then it becomes so difficult. For you to then terminate the contract without reference say just cause because onono bichi ni part of we say no this year we mobile matches say 34 meboa no abomu 27
this is a player who plays right back central defense holding midfield
so
a captain of the team
yanka say even normal cramos man warning no are there history of suspension based on sad corner mo so onye na na se obuso no are there history of suspension ni nyina ti meboa na sɛ wopɛ sɛ terminate contract na ɛtumi terminate contract ebi ane sɛ okay ebi kɔ ɔdena no ne kan nti wode wano aka no a adekɔ no wayɛ na wano aka no asan yɛ bio history was suspending no oh no if all those things come into play
any of frame me ɔmɛsɛ mɛbɔ ne din adekɔ no no so ka sɛ atɔtɔ aso bebree na ɛwɔ contract no mu ɔmbɛtumi agyina so de asaka no easily na mebusa nsɛ nti ɔmo trɔe ɛwɔ hefa adekɔ no wɔ hefa na nti ɔno bɛkasa na no sɛ dabi we de ga asɛm kɛseɛ paa
na asɛm kɛseɛ sɛ ɔde a ɔmfa mmerɛ
yɛ magro di akyerɛ ɛbɛsɔkɔ
yes ɔmfa mmerɛ ne
ɔde ne ho ɛbɛwurawura mu but deɛ ɛkɔ so no deɛ contract no ɛwɔ mu saa sɛ wobɛtumi agyina so nam sɛ ɛwɔ hefa
first of all
yes
Kotoko as a football club all right to decide player bed bobo amami player bed nembo mami but you must be ready to face the consequence it is simple as that ultimately Kotoko as a football club all right hey na yem pese we bobo amaye we yem pese we bobo amaye into ko baby but there's a price to be paid you must be prepared to be paid price no that is the argument too obi anka se Kotoko ni right so meka so honko and there all right nso be so honko ko bi ade ko kan plans ho but the didn't tell our plans on the Jan Quine was some view, no corny baby.
All right. General, give me the English word for one in if it's no incompetence. Nana Bafo, Tornado FC. The all kinds Andy Bear
so I got this message coming through from Emmanuel Dasube.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. It's a CAF club licensing manager. Or Ujuma or CAF.
Okay. One of the Abros, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Listen, you are right. That is the opening statement. With the normal is willing in. You are right. People are confusing the ban of the Babaya Stadium to automatically have a Category 2 status after it was banned.
Okay.
But in our database, we have taken it off until we start a new cycle of getting the stadium approved for whichever category the GFA would apply for. The engagement letter for both clubs is yet to be sent because the GFA has up until 31st July to do so. This deadline also falls within the club licensing application process to be completed on the club licensing online platform, the club. Until then, we have not gotten to the stage of accepting or rejecting a stadium until it is communicated to us and a decision taken by the GFA. So, Kafun Chonko be just rejected by Stadium. Yeah, but no, you must send this to confirm the discussion here. That's what I wanted to get you through.
Okay, but on some Ima Yebusa is a Onyankan, Kafan and Onkan. The condition be a Baba won't be omitted my boat. No condition. And I mean, a month for some. Got the course, the baby and who be no course of a papa. It doesn't mean that no
General Sunyabatre.
Well, you base your judgment on who tell the Frank Kanye. Frank say, is the minister can a minister may not be a technocrat. Johnny don't know party affair. No say the crew say. But they be inspector Baswa. No me better take. But my mass, yes, not to call it me, but you know, prelims no. There.
You see, now me yeka say Blay contract. I wanted to read an aspect of a contract by APL to just expand that discussion. Where obligations of the employee, in this case the player, almost 30 people are to maintain a healthy lifestyle and high standards of fitness, to comply with and act in accordance with APL FC instructions. To obey APL FC rules, including, where applicable, disciplinary regulations, code of conduct, and all that. So I'm just trying to say, contracts na nkasa players ne sign uko under the obligations of the players ye woniema hodo e wase enye only performance.
To APR in Rwanda,
yeah, to a Ghanaian player. But I know, say, most of these Ghanaian clubs also have similar clauses in the contract that the players are obligated to put up certain aspect of and it's not only performance and a merited termination, other aspects, but you have to go about it properly before you can do all those things. Maybe I agree with that cheaper and say, so we player non peno now when you so far you pay the compensation and the player leaves.
Okay. All right. So what never do me and okay, so one to me and never do me okay, and I'll follow and the came. We are incompetent, period. anafi nye wona be follow ahwan na ebe follow anafi sunwa zongo na enso apagya we e de abreye. All right. Enti e de be nko a muso among timi nka se nnema na ehu a mo meka be ehu e Kofi Champon.
Yes sir.
Nipa na branch mo se nnema wa ye no ehu. Okay, obi aso enima de kra wa ye muso a chinchina mo se onko enye se onimbo body onimbo pa but chinchina onko.
Yo, I've told you sir.
Muso a muntimi enka de kro na wa ye no
in football
se onko
in the industry no.
Etimi sisana.
There are two ways to terminate
Mm-hmm.
contract. One, triggered by the player himself, or two, triggered by the club. And obi also trigger no so sign on normal mute. Trigger contract with just cause or without just cause.
Yeah.
Just cause you said there's a reason, there's this established reason. If your contract number sign no or no need so. Players no and they FIFA standard. So also any player maybe a 2 month after 2 months no. Obit must have notice 15 days. So one trying to call bit me aka say or cancel the contract. And any termination with just cause.
Okay.
But me ba bia Kotoko. Who say ne ebia me dem aba umba mos kakara kanti wo mo bi o pese wo jako. Without just cause. Intini ne you know penalties e wo contract mu no. You must be prepared say obey face penalties na wo contract mu. So what the mention say. Inti say hwan yo the amount justification is so difficult no. And he say about 34 matches. Player bo makumako 27. The player on your discipline. So Kobe service suspension. The coach will not select him. Any normal or the Kotoko were condoning indiscipline. What we say brothers and some also were win sign to win Sabu say cry the Bijna Park so. So what period in now or the yes
so mo say oboche obi.
What period when or the yes
training ground so or you training che obi.
It makes it very difficult when the players played close to 80% of league matches. Then who the reason papa say a non-performance indiscipline. How many times have you even suspended him or quit him? What I say what 7 no quit notice. And I be we saw 7 notice no. On say no more when you now to bet me that so. Them say Kotoko is at liberty to terminate the contract with Jesse Blay. But Kotoko must be prepared to pay the compensation. So what I say they are involved no. Tiano na Joe no kon baby. But if you want to terminate without so be to when me na then the matter where and be omit me discuss maybe place this committee.
If you do this stage we a club administrator over there una CEO I work club yeah, player